The last 2 years, the Giving Back Award has been awarded to Mark Ruffalo and Tim Blake Nelson. Mark Ruffalo, as you know, has been very involved with environmental issues, including the water of the Hudson, and Tim Blake Nelson, who produces an incredible program for young people on Broadway, where young people come on and they have the opportunity to go to this school after hours and hone their talents. Last summer, I was invited by Tim Blake to one of those performances, and ladies and gentlemen, I was blown away by the talent of the children. 11 to 17 years old, just supremely talented, and just incredible, incredible productions. I'm so sorry, I just can't see anything. I need some light. Oh. Oh, this is great. Oh, thank you. Yeah. My husband has been telling me I need glasses, but I've been sort of holding off. Tonight might be the the turning point. Oh yes, that's great. Oh my God, light and mouse. I am very proud to announce this year's winner is the acclaimed and very lovely filmmaker and activist Meera Nair. We are all eagerly looking forward to the Broadway stage production of Monsoon Wedding next year. I remember well the excitement and joy of Monsoon Wedding when my young daughter Kiran and I were on the red carpet for the film, as well as on the red carpet for Vanity Fair. Through her films, Meera Nair is unafraid to show that the path to peace is a very complicated one. Her themes are developed to open people's minds and hearts and to help global audiences see the world through the eyes of others. Most important is that Meera Nair herself is an extremely generous and dedicated humanitarian. With the proceeds of her first few films, she helped over 5,000 street kids in India and established 17 centers for them around the country through her Salam Bala Trust, which is run today by her mother. Meera is an inspiration to my own Giving Back Foundation because of her dedicated work with young filmmakers today in Uganda, where she's doing phenomenal work with her boot camps for the African continent's best and brightest young filmmakers. And now, it gives me great personal pleasure indeed to welcome to the stage, to receive the 2013 Giving Back Foundation Award, the brilliant and lovely Meera Nair.
Thank you so much. The subtitle of this award is actually, you need to be a Meera to win it. Meera Blaustein, Meera Gandhi, and the namesake, Meera. So thank you so much for this. And as I was coming here, it's really a pleasure to be back at the Woodstock Film Festival. I love festivals that celebrate fiercely independent cinema, but also that celebrate mavericks and marginals, because I've always questioned who decides who is marginal in our world. And this is the third time here, and it gets bigger, and you know, the booze is still flowing, which is always very welcome. I also remembered an odd fact which I had completely forgotten, which is when I came here, I left India for the first time as a student on a scholarship to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I came here when I was 19. And my very first Thanksgiving was in Woodstock in 1976, so that's 37 years in Woodstock. And it's a great pleasure, really. I always love it to be here. Well, I grew up in a tiny town in Orissa in India, and it's impossible to turn a blind eye to, you know, the rich and the poor, to the discrepancy that exists between us. And I grew up in a family where it was really not about words, but more about action. My mother was supposed to wear beautiful clothes and play canasta and bridge with all the other bureaucratic wives, but instead she started a health home for children of lepers who were born healthy. Leprosy was a big thing where in the community, in the area where we lived. So I grew up in that idea of activism, and actually it was the idealistic, sometimes kind of ridiculously idealistic question about if art could change the world that really fueled me to become first an actor and then a filmmaker. But with Salam Bombay, with my first film, which is now 25 years old, we kind of had this extraordinary example of being able to prove that actually a film could make a difference. And now, as Meera has said, about 5,000 children come through our centers every year, and more importantly, they have all grown up and come back and work within the centers for other street kids like themselves. So that is the cycle that I believe in. And that is the cycle that about 20-some years ago, when I went to make my second film, Mississippi Masala, in Kampala, Uganda, thank you, I ended up falling in love and living there, and I've lived there ever since. And because I have a little foot in Hollywood and little foot in, mostly a big foot in other cinema, I get offered these movies that come out, the very few that come out of Hollywood that are supposed to be about Africa, but they're usually about white people in the foreground having neurotic breakdowns, and usually a Maasai warrior, nameless and faceless, in a country that they call Africa, even though there are so many countries within Africa. So that was the foundation of what became Maisha. Maisha is a Swahili word, which means life, and was the name that we were going to give our daughter until out popped a son. So Maisha is what we named the film school. And it is now 9 years old, and I'm especially really happy and honored to be here with one of our founding members, my partner in crime and passion and politics, Lydia Dean Pilcher, who you saw earlier. And Maisha is really about a line that is in Mississippi Masala, which is that Africa must be made by Africans. Africa must be shown by Africans, and Africa must be spoken of Africans. So with all due respect and love for Andrew, who has won for The Forgotten Kingdom, the movie you saw about, I think it was Kenya, I'm not sure, but I'm sure it's as beautiful as it looks. But still, we have a great oral tradition in Africa, and yet really no training that takes the person from the idea of telling a story to the idea of screen. And that was the birth of Maisha, which is now 9 years old. It's a free school, and we invite mentors from all over the world to come and give of their time, 2 weeks at a stretch, and train. So we've had people from, Abdurrahman Sissako to Vishal Bharadwaj to Stephen Frears to, people who like to say, I really believe people like to do good. You just have to present them an opportunity and they will say yes. And it exists on that principle. But it is also free. And it is a struggle every year to put together. Close to $420,000 was our budget annually, because we have 10 labs in the 4 countries that constitute East Africa: Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, and Tanzania. But I'm very pleased to tell you that today we have 11 feature film directors in Uganda and 17 feature film directors in Tanzania and Rwanda and Kenya. And it's absolutely, because that's what the goal was and continues to be. It is unfortunately the directors need to have, you need to make directors to have the rest of the operation happen with making cinema. And sometimes it's despairing, because the money, I can't stand always, having lunch and dinner with rich people all the time and saying, this and that. But sometimes it's extraordinarily heartening, because what Maisha has brought to East Africa is a sense of community in creativity, and a sense of really a place, as a student told me the other day, it's a beacon, it tells me that someone is listening. So I really appreciate both the instinct of the Woodstock Film Festival to honor activism, and firstly to honor independent cinema, And secondly, I really do appreciate Meera, thinking of this award and giving it to people who believe that art can possibly change a little. And I'm also very honored to be soon sharing the same stage with one of my people who made me a filmmaker, Peter Bogdanovich, whom I haven't met, but I'm going to shake his hand and possibly kiss him as soon as I get off stage. So thank you so much. Thank you very much.